What is going on, guys? Sonic and the Bean Show here. Today we're looking at the brand new Jakks specific Wave 1 Bendy action figures. I was finally able to get a hold of the complete set here, and I've been really interested in how these figures are. Ever since they were first revealed, I thought they looked pretty impressive, and even seeing them in person, they still look pretty good. So let's take a look at the packaging. I'm actually going to start off with Bendy. I kind of like this display right here to the side, so let me just move these over here. Let's just focus on Bendy right here. Okay, so here is the front of the packaging right here. I really like the packaging. I know I said this when these figures were revealed, talking about them, but I really do like the packaging here. So you can see the figure and then the accessory, and then it has Bendy, the logo right there, which I know these are based off of Dark Revival, but it just says Bendy instead. So that makes me think if they're maybe like in future waves, they'll do the designs from like the first game and, of course, like the new game and like other characters and stuff like that, if they're just going to call it Bendy. But that'd be cool if they did something like that. But, you can see Bendy here to the side, the image of the figure, Bendy, and then, 14 plus Jakks Pacific logo, and then the Joey Drew Studios logo right there. Not much with the top, and then not much at the bottom, but the side just kind of continues. And then here's this side right here. You can see Bendy right there, and then here's the back right here. So it shows the figure, the backdrop right here, and then it kind of just tells you, what else is going on, like the accessory, and then it shows like the articulation, and then these are the other figures here in the set. So that's the packaging for Bendy. Here is Audrey right here. Here's the back. So here is Tom, and then here is the back right here. And then finally we got Ink Demon, and this looks really sick. And then here is the back of the packaging. So yeah, that was pretty much that. I didn't want to spend too much time with the packaging because I know that usually takes a lot. That right there was their packaging. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack these out of the box and take a closer look. Okay, so the first figure we're going to be looking at here is Bendy, and geez, man, the sculpt on these figures are amazing. Especially this Bendy figure, because man, it looks like Bendy really just came out of the game. Aesthetically, it looks really good, man. I love a lot of things about this figure, and even like the posability on this guy isn't too bad either. So I would like get into with like a close-up here, but I think you can see everything perfectly fine here. There's not like a lot going on. You can see everything clearly here, like the vest and then the gloves, but the paint job isn't too bad. So the plastic is actually really glossy, as you can see, especially like I guess the ink you would see here, and like this is like sculpted up here, so it's like like sculpted over the face, and then you can see like the little Pac-Man eyes and then the mouth. So for the accessories, so each figure does come with one accessory right here. So you have this choo-choo train that Bendy has. I'm not really sure how he would be able to hold it. I kind of just have it just rest on his hand right here. I don't know if there's a way he can like grip on to the train, really. I'm not entirely too sure. I just kind of have it rest on his hand. But you have the train right there, and it's just one solid piece, so you can't like move the wheels or anything like that. So yeah, each figure comes with like a little accessory, and then they come with a backdrop right here, which I actually got to put the camera a little bit up to show the whole thing. But you get this backdrop right here. You can see how it is, and there's actually, well, actually, let me show this off real fast. But I like how the base is like the shape of Bendy's head. Like there's like the bottom right there. But yeah, you have this, and then this just a cardboard cutout. There you go. And then there is a peg right here. It'd be a nice display, honestly. So I like that they each figure actually comes with this. So that's really cool if you want to display your figures like this on the shelf, and I think it looks nice. I'm glad that they did something like this, because I think I'm definitely gonna do that. And if you just want the accessory to just be there. So I mean, you don't even have to like really peg them on, because they can still stand on their own perfectly fine. So but yeah, I like this. I think this is actually pretty cool. And there's nothing to the back, if you were wondering about that. It's just solid black. But yeah, I like it. I think this is actually really cool. Okay, and now for the articulation. So the head does feel like it's on a ball peg, but because the head is so low, you're just going to get a regular rotation. So just a, standard rotation to have Bendy look left and right. For the shoulders, you do have a full rotation there. Hinge to the shoulder can go high about here. It probably could go higher, but because of Bendy's, head being in the way, because, I can like put it all the way, back like that. But hinge to the shoulder isn't really too bad. You do get a single joint in the elbows, which I think I might have mine. Okay, yeah, so I had mine like kind of crooked, but yeah, single jointed elbows, you get this much range right there, which I don't really think is too bad. You get that much right there. And then the wrists are actually on a small ball peg, and you can rotate the wrist. Now, there's nothing going on with the torso, but for the hips, Bendy can kick forward just about there. And then to kick back, not so much. You only get that much for Bendy to kick back. And then you do have single jointed knees, so you get that much range right there. The ankles seem like they're just on a small ball peg, but you also get a rotation, I guess, out to the side. See if I can try to, oh yeah, so Bendy can, yeah, so Bendy can actually kick out to the side just a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty much the articulation for Bendy. Wasn't really expecting too much with Bendy, due to how the character design is, but it's not too bad though. I mean, Bendy is still posable. I think the articulation's fine with this figure. Okay, and now for some comparisons, but here is the Jakks Bendy next to the two Fat Mojo Bendy figures right here. So, I have the the one based off of Dark Revival, and then that one was, Ink Machine. But I definitely do like the Jakks Bendy one a lot more. This one's not in the best condition, like the bow tie is, it ripped off, and the joints on this figure is like really loose too. So I didn't really have the best like luck with these figures, because the QC wasn't really the best. But yeah, I definitely do like the Jakks Bendy a whole lot more. And then here's another comparison. I wanted to compare it to some other Jakks specific figures. So we got the 4-inch Sonic and Mario figure. Next up we have here is Audrey. This figure is okay. There's not really a lot to go over since most of the figure is solid black, so you can still see a little bit of like her face and then like her shirt really. But her legs though are like completely black this time. I kind of wish there was a little bit of revealing with the pants, like because it being all just solid black right here, because you can see a little bit of her foot right here, but yeah, most of it is like just solid black. You can see it going here with the back, and then of course the hair too. You can see some texture going on with her shirt like right here, so it does go all the way down to her shirt really, which is really subtle. You can barely see it, but when the light reflects off of it, you can see it just a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much Audrey right there. There's a closer look at the head sculpt right there. Now for her accessories, she does come with the gent pipe right here, so this is nice, and it does have like some nice shading around it. And you can just pop this into her hand as so, because she does have an open hand. And then we do have the backdrop right here. Now I don't really know if I did this bottom part right. This part was kind of tricky trying to do, because you have to like put it between here. But this is how the backdrop looks right here. And then again, we got the peg, and she does have a peg hole. So now for the articulation. So the head is also on a ball peg. You don't really get a whole lot of movement, but it's just a little bit there. Just not much to really have her look up, or really like looking down, or any pivoting really. Just as much as you get right there. But you do have a rotation to the head, so you can have her look left and right. For rotation to the arms, you do get a hinge to the shoulder, which does go pretty high up. You get that much for her arm to go up about there. We do have single jointed elbows. Not the best range for her elbows, it's not really the best as you can get right there. And there is actually rotation. I don't know if I mentioned that for Bendy, but you do get a rotation with the elbows. Rotation to the wrist this time, and then there is a standard horizontal hinge right there. There is no waist twist though, so no waist articulation going on with the Audrey figure. But for the hips, she can kick forward just about there. You get that much, and then to kick back just about there. And she can also kick out to the side since her legs are just on a ball peg. And then you do get single jointed knees, which just goes 90. You can rotate the knee as well. Mine are a little bit loose though, as you can see. They're like a bit loose. And then the ankles, you're just gonna get a rotation, just a rotation going on with the ankles. So here is the Jakks Audrey figure next to the Fat Mojo one, just to give you a difference on how these two look. And then here's another comparison right here, but here is the Audrey figure next to the Fat Mojo Allison and Alice Angel figures. Next up we have here is Tom, and this one's actually pretty good. I only have just one issue going on with the shoulder that I'll get into with the articulation, but I do like this Tom figure. Again, they do a really good job with the sculpting on these figures, man. It looks really, really nice. You can see you got the missing chunk here with the ear. You got the mechanical arm right here, which looks pretty nice. And of course, like the overalls being, torn up here, and then the strap going around. Here's a close-up here on the face, but I wanted to show off like the scars you have, around the face of Tom. Now for your accessory, you are going to get the axe right here, and you can just throw this on to Tom's hand. And I know I said this before, but I don't really remember the axe being like this color. Like I thought like where the hand was at, this was like all like, solid black right here. And I mean, it's not the biggest deal. You could just, paint it black yourself, but I thought for sure like this part was all black, but I don't know, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. But yeah, you do get the axe here for Tom, so that's really cool right there. And then for the backdrop, you do get this right here. So this is how it looks, Heavenly Toys, and of course the base right there. Now for the articulation, we do get a ball peg here at the head. You get a little bit of movement going on there, not really much to look up, but to look down, not too bad. You do get a little bit of pivoting with the the head right there, but you are just gonna get a full rotation to the head. For the shoulders, this was the issue I was talking about, because hinge to the shoulder doesn't really want to move up compared to this arm right here. And I'm sure it's just the way how this is sculpted right here, so it won't be able to move any higher than that. But yeah, it's really just the shoulder right there. But you do have your single jointed elbows. You get that much range. And then I'll use this one. This one seems like it can bend a little bit better though. So you have that rotation, to, well actually there's a rotation going on here to the bicep right there, but this one it's just to the elbow, as you can see. And you got your your rotation to the wrist, and you actually get a horizontal hinge, which I didn't really see. So yeah, horizontal hinge going on there. There is a ball peg here to the waist, so you get a little bit of movement there. You can also rotate that, so you have that, and then not much to go back, forward, just about there, and then to the side, it's a little bit better to the side. And then for the hips, you can have Tom kick forward, just about there, not so much to really kick forward, and then back, I don't really expect that much right there. And then out to the side, I feel like I'm about to pop the legs off, but it looks like you can probably just kick, have Tom kick out to the side, just about there. We do actually get a rotation here to the leg, and then we got our single jointed knees, which you only get that much range right there. And then you do have a rotation with the ankles, and they can go back about there and then go far forward. So yeah, not too bad. So I actually made a mistake right here for the arm. So for this arm, there is only just a bicep swivel. You can see the cut going on right there, but there is no rotation to the elbows. But for this arm, there actually is a bicep swivel. I just didn't really see it. And then there's a rotation for the elbows too on this arm. So I thought I would point that out right there. So here's a comparison to the Fat Mojo Boris figure, and they both seem about the same height. I think Boris' head is just a bit bigger, but yeah, in terms of like the height with these two, I think they're pretty close to each other. And the last figure we have here is the Ink Demon figure. This figure is a beast. This is actually really, really good. So I'm holding it right now because it can't really stand on its own. I've tried a lot of times to try to get this guy to stand on his own. You can see just how tall it is. It's about 7 inches, at least to where the horn would be at. But I'd say like to the top of the head, it's like pretty much to 6 inches. But of how small the feet is, and then the legs being really skinny, I couldn't really seem to get this guy to stand that well. It wants to, yeah, unless there's like a certain pose you gotta do, but I couldn't get the Ink Demon figure to stand. But it does have the peg hole right there for the the base that I'll show off, but you can use that. But I like this figure though. This looks really, really nice. Now, just like Audrey, there's not a lot to talk about. It is just, you know, solid black. There's a little bit of going on, like the bow tie being ripped up here, and then, you know, like the teeth right there. And then, of course, you got the long claws with the hands, and you know, of course, the plastic being all, you know, shiny right here to bring out the ink. But yeah, you know, overall, it's kind of cool though. Like, it's just kind of like cool and creepy looking, and you know, you got like this sticking out from the back, which are actually, you know, pretty soft. You can see how I'm like moving them. Like, you can kind of see the spine right here, and even like the arms too. Like, I like how like this is separated right here. So for the accessories, you do have the end reel accessory right here. You know, it does say the end right there, and then, you know, there's the other side. And then for the display base, we do have this right here. So you got the ink machine, and then there's the base right there. And now for the articulation, so we actually get a ball peg here at the head and the neck, so that's actually going to help with the head movement a lot, to go all the way around. So to have it look up, you can get that much right there, and then to have it look down, I'd say you're getting just about there. And then the waist is going to help a little bit too. For pivoting, not too bad. You know, of course, that helps with the neck too. So like, look at that, you can even bring the head like all the way to the, well, close to the shoulder actually, if you use the neck right there. Now there is a thing that you can do here. So if you actually just pop the head off and you turn the neck piece like all the way around, this is going to help it better to look down. So now you can have the Ink Demon look down a lot better this time. And if you want to look to the shoulder a little bit, or not like look to the shoulder, but look a little bit closer to this side, that's going to help a lot more. So I thought I would point that out right there. But you do have your, you know, your standard rotation to the head without, you know, using the neck right there. For the shoulders, so arms can go back and forth. Hinge to the shoulder just goes high about here, which isn't too bad. No bicep swivel, unfortunately, but we do get our single jointed elbows here. You get that much range, you get a rotation there, and then you have a rotation to the wrist, and then standard horizontal hinge right there. We do have a ball peg going on here, so this is not too bad. You can get that much movement right there. Not much to really go back, but to go forward, you know, that's okay, and then that's going to help it, you know, even look even more. And then to the side, this side can actually move pretty well, but this one I can't really seem to go anymore. So yeah, not too bad, and then you get your rotation out of that. For the hips, so kicking forward shouldn't be much of an issue with this figure. You can kick high about there, and you can kick back about there. You can kind of move it a little bit more if you really want to. You can probably turn the entire leg all the way around too, but yeah, the hips aren't too bad. And then kicking to the side shouldn't be much of an issue either. So yeah, like this guy can definitely move. And then we do have single jointed knees, far forward about there, and then far back about there. And then there is like a, you know, rotation there. So here's a comparison right here. So I have all four of them next to each other, and I'm holding the figure to have it stand properly. But I tried to straighten out the legs to make it as tall as possible here. But yeah, you can see the Ink Demon is a really tall figure next to these three, you know, which it is, you know, it is a tall character. Alright, so that is going to wrap up this review on the Jakks specific Wave 1 Bendy action figures. Overall, I think these are pretty solid. I really enjoyed this entire wave right here. There's not really a lot of issues I have with these. There is certain joints being loose, minor paint scuffs, and trying to get the Ink Demon figure to stand. Unless you're just going to display him on, you know, the base, or, you know, put him in a crawling position, then you should be fine. But for these only being 15 bucks, I'm pretty satisfied with these. I love the paint job and the sculpting on these figures. The articulation is great. I like the accessories and the backdrops that are included here, along with the packaging. I can't forget about that because I love the way how the packaging is for these figures. I also like that this line isn't just sticking with a certain scale compared to what Jakks is doing with their Sonic and Mario line. That was one of my favorite things that they did with their Mega Man Fully Charged line, where like each figure had their own scale. However, these Bendy figures right here are pretty fun. I enjoyed myself with these and I'm looking forward to what else they have coming soon. But let me know, what are your thoughts on these in the comments down below. If you want to pick these up, they are currently available at Walmart. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until then, take care, my friends.